ever since the beginning, he never put in that much effort to me. I definitely feel like I always gave 110% into the relationship. I tried to give him the world, and it just wasn't there for him.
Yo, what is going on, Warband? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video, and on today's show, we're looking at a video submission through the Patreon, again titled The Truth About Our Breakup. But if you guys are new here, be sure to subscribe on your way in. Come and join the Discord if you haven't already. And if you'd like some exclusive videos, want to support the channel, Patreon is a great way to do that. And you can also submit questions for the show through there. But let's see what she has to say.
Like, off camera, it didn't seem like we were boyfriend and girlfriend. And I say that because Tanner and I never went on dates. We weren't, like, affectionate at all. And when, like, birthdays, Valentine's Day, and, like, our anniversary came around, there was nothing. I didn't get, like, a happy Valentine's Day, a card, flowers, nothing. Like, no, let's go out for dinner. Like, I didn't get that. Because I was definitely jealous that, like, my girlfriends got to go, like, spend Valentine's Day with their boyfriend, or they got flowers, or anything. Just, like, those small little things that you get for those days.
Guys, this is one of the reasons why I bring up social media so much on the channel. It really affects girls when you don't post them, you don't show affection, if you don't show them off on your social media, they feel like they aren't committed to, and they lose their mind, right? Because, guys, you have to understand that relationships are a trade between men and women, okay? Men trade their commitment, and women trade their affection. Okay, that's typically how it works, right? So if you're a guy and you're giving away all of your commitment, you have nothing. That's why you'll get videos like this, not like this, pardon me, but you'll get videos of girls saying, "Oh, he gave me nothing, but I really liked him." And conversely, you'll get a lot of videos where if a guy gives her everything, she resents him. Okay, so you have to be careful with that. And look how much this, like, this prompted her. This video is only 10 minutes, but I'm assuming there's a bunch more videos on the topic. Um, Girls will sit down and have a full-on discussion about how you aren't sharing them to your social media. Like, it really affects them, guys. Let's continue.
And I didn't want to confront him about it because I didn't want him to feel that I was, like, being, like, spoiled or bratty or anything. But, like, that's just things that, like, boyfriends do. I feel like it's only fair if I'm coming clean about stuff, I should just come clean about everything. But, like, our 1-year anniversary video, like, that was all set up just for the video. He didn't put that together himself. Another huge problem in our relationship revolved around money. Ever since the beginning, Tanner's never paid for, like, anything. If I decided to set up a date for us when we were, like, friends, I would always pay for everything. I remember the only date he took me on was at where he worked at the time, and it's because he basically got, like, a free meal. With trips, it was always supposed to be half and half, but we put it on my card and he would never pay me back for
You see, this is like you know, it's really strange to watch, guys. Like, it really is. If a girl perceives you as, like, higher value, quote unquote, she will put up with a lot of crappy behavior. She will put up with a lot of terrible things. It's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is. Like, you see, girls, like, basically, this girl in her mind was like in a Lamborghini, right? She was, this rich guy was like giving her everything, and she didn't want to speak out because she'd lose all the toys like the Lamborghini and stuff, right? That's how much the validation was worth. Because validation is worth a different amount from man to man. Okay? So if your validation is easy to get, it's worth nothing. If your validation is very difficult to get, it's worth something, and you can get away with a lot of crappy things. I'm not advocating to go and do crappy things to people, boys, but I'm just trying to explain how the dynamics work, because you will see situations of, very beautiful women who are in these situations, and they'll be like, "Oh, he was the only one I loved. I only ever really fell for him," and that's imprinting. Let's keep going.
like a majority of the trips that we took. When we moved into the apartment together, at some point he kind of just stopped paying rent when it was supposed to be cut in half. I bought his furniture for his gaming room, bills, rent, like you name it. I just never got the money back for that stuff. Also, he's been driving the same car since we met, and I've gotten 2 cars since then, and he would always like drive my cars, and instead of like fixing his car or like, you know, getting a new car, he would just drive mine all the time, and a majority of the time I would always put the gas in it. And like I was fine with him driving my car for a little bit until his car was like all figured out, or he like got a new car, but like it just never happened. And with the rent stuff at our apartment around our birthdays, I kind of got fed up because something pushed me over the edge where I was like, okay, this needs to be fixed. Because
when girls typically get to that point, now I'm not saying this is the case in this point in this situation, but when girls get to the point of like, you know, they can get fed up, sure, with like the crappy behavior, but chances are it's not that. Chances are what happens is he lets the validation price drop, so she feels like she can pipe up a bit more and say that his behavior is terrible. So for example, like girls typically don't want to speak out against terrible behavior because they don't want to lose the guy, right? They don't want to lose the experiences they've had, whatever, you know, whatever words they choose to use. They don't want to lose the man, so they won't speak up. Okay? But the times that they will speak up are when the man's value drops, you see. So when his validation is worth less, when he's starting to put in a genuine and more effort, the girl thinks to herself, "Hey, maybe I can fit this in now. You know, maybe we could. He seems like he's in a better position, so I'm going to try and fit this in now. I'm going to bring up the fact that you know you haven't been paying rent or something like that. That only generally comes up when the value drops. Now there could be another reason where you just push it way beyond the line, but typically it's corresponds to you lower yourself in her eyes, right?
because there was so much money that he owed me. So I confronted him about the rent at the apartment and all of the money that he owed me from previous trips and bills and just all this money that was getting racked up, and he said he would fix it, and it never got fixed. And again, I didn't want to make it like this big problem in our relationship, so I just like let it slide. So when we decided to move into this house because of issues at the apartment, I told him we could start from scratch and he didn't have to pay me back any of the money, even though it was like an insane amount of money at that point. Again, because I just didn't want it to be a problem. And it was to a point where I was like, I'll just cover all the bills. Like, all you have to do is pay for your half of rent and do some like chores around the house that like I don't particularly.
See how low the bar is set for him, right? I want you guys to think of like, I know I've got a lot of older guys, I've got a lot of younger guys. Most of us have been through relationships where a lot was expected of us, particularly when we were young and we didn't understand. There were relationships and times in our lives when, if you weren't aware of this sort of stuff, it'd always be, as a man, you're expected to do this, 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 and this. If you want to get in a girl's good books, so to speak, you have to do A, B, C, D, and E, right? And, when you look at situations like this, and you see as a guy that, hey, if I do all of these things, I'm essentially being used, right? Because I'm not getting any affection. I'm not getting anything. If I go and I get roses for a girl, I ask her out on a date, I buy her some drinks afterwards, and then we talk for however long. Like some guys talk to girls for really long amounts of time. You already know what I think about that. But you do all of these things, A through to Z, and at the end of the day, the girl is like, oh, and she'll give you like a peck on the cheek or something. And then you come to people like my channel and you see something like this, and you see it actually explained to you, and you're like, wait a minute. I've had guys in the comment section say like, they've been like, I wish I had this information earlier. You know what I mean? As a guy, it's it's so eye-opening to see the level of behavior that men get away with just because they're worth something to the woman, you see? And it's not even that they're worth something, like they just treat her like crap. You know what I mean? And then that makes her feel like he's really valuable. Isn't that just an interesting thing to watch unfold, guys? Anyway.
Really wanted men do. So he did that for a month or two, and then it went back to the same old shit. And on top of that, he wasn't doing like the simple things I asked of him, like taking out the garbage once a week. And this being like our full-time jobs, he basically just sat on his computer all day and played games instead of like working. That's his job, and he wasn't even doing it. It was kind of just like whatever to him. So I guess at a certain point I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Plus I don't really talk to like my friends and family about like my relationship stuff. When I did bring it up in the past, they were all like, careful, he might be using you and blah blah blah, and I was like, no, like he's not that type of person, like it's fine, like it'll get figured out. Or I would lie.
You see, because how you actually, you can be, this is hilarious, guys, you can be like a very terrible person, for example, and a girl will sit here on camera and say, he was lovely, he was this and that, but you know what, his actions were not lovely at all, right? Like, his actions were treating her like crap, and then the girl will go, oh, he was lovely, he's the greatest guy, and then you get a guy that comes along and treats her like a princess, and she's like, oh, he's creepy. You guys already know the stories, right? It's like, oh, he's a creepy man. And like, that's just how backwards it is, right? The guy who gives her everything is creepy. The guy who gives her nothing, takes her rent money, all, you know what I mean? Like, all this. He's a good guy that's not using her. It's because of the emotions that attach on. It's got nothing to do with what actually happens. Okay?
Lie and say that he was paying for things when he really wasn't. But yeah, basically I got really fed up with it, and I couldn't take it anymore. I was so stressed out about money. And due to the COVID-19 stuff, you guys may not think that it's affecting me, but like, I'm not getting paid by companies because of it. I could no longer financially support Tanner. And Tanner knew how much I was stressed over money. I would mention it like 100 times to him, and he didn't do anything to help me. And I think that's what sucks the most, is that he didn't even like apologize, tried to help me in any way. He just like let me like fall apart. The day before I told him to leave, he was sent money from his dad, and he like told me, he was like, oh, my dad just sent me this much money. He didn't send me the money that he owed me at the time, and I was just like, I don't get how you can like let me sit here and be stressed about like money and our living situation, and like as soon as you get money you don't instantly like send that to me so I can like pay for our bills.
Guys, I want to leave the video on a note. When people cry on camera for, a full 10 minutes or whatever, you do have to question the authenticity of the tears, boys. Like, I'm looking at this video and I'm thinking to myself, it's interesting, because you could always sit down and make a video like this when you were in the right frame of mind, you know what I mean? But yeah, just an interesting way to tackle it, shall we say. Anyway, we're going to leave today's video there, boys. Oh my goodness, I totally forgot today's question, which we will do tomorrow then. Just want to say thank you if you stuck around so long, guys. Be sure to comment on your way out what you think about the video. Subscribe if you're new, and great ways to support the channel are through the PayPal or the Patreon. And I'll be thanking a bunch of people tomorrow for their support as well. And I'll see you boys in the next one. Peace. Yo boys, it's Taylor here. I just want to say thank you if you've made it to the end of the video, and if you've been enjoying the content, be sure to subscribe on your way out, join the Discord, and check out the Patreon link in the description. See you boys in the next one. Talking too much in the gum and they're missing in mind. Had to put myself together, we get my composure, follow my heart. Alright, I used to ride in the back of the bus and I